Hey guys, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. And let me explain to you really quick. First of all, for starters, it's free. Yes, I said it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And I know most of you guys have a phone or computer, so it's so easy. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So make sure you download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to the I'm Good podcast. If you are new here, what's good? What's poppin'? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Shree. And welcome to the I'm Good podcast. I hope you stay for a while. Make sure you go ahead and grab your pen and paper, a notebook, whatever it may be. Because listen, we're going to be taking some notes today, okay? We're going to be talking about things to make you feel happier. Also, too, for my returning listeners to my I'm Good fam, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode. Thank you so much for rocking with your girl, for rocking with this podcast. Like, you guys don't understand. You guys mean so much. So I really want to, express my gratitude for my, ongoing listeners and, my continuous listenership. So shout out to y'all wherever y'all at, shout out to everybody because we have like people from all over. This is like an international podcast. We have people from all over. So shout out to everybody who has tuned into the podcast. It is really greatly appreciated. And as always, if you feel like these podcast episodes resonate with you and you feel that you want to share it with someone else, feel free to share this podcast. Whatever way you're listening to this, there should be like a toggle where you can like share this, podcast, share the link, whatever it may be. So feel free to do that. This podcast is sponsored by allthingsShree.com, where we offer apparel that is meant to inspire, uplift, and motivate you. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out and use your special promo code I'm Good Fam to get 10% off your entire order. Once again, use promo code I'm Good Fam to get 10% off your entire order. And listen, you're going to be happy that you've done so. And thank you to everyone who has purchased from the website. But if you have not done so, you still have a chance. Use your promo code I'm Good Fam to get 10% off your entire order. And listen, you could be part of the crew, the I'm Good crew, the I'm Good Fam. Also, too, if you are listening to this on an Apple podcast, if you listen to this like on an Apple device and listen through Apple Podcasts, make sure you guys go ahead and leave a rating and review. This helps this podcast to grow even further than what it is. And it just helps a lot more people. That's the whole purpose of this podcast, is for me to help, not only myself, like me doing these podcasts are very therapeutic for me, but it's also to help others as well. So make sure if you have not done so, leave a rating, or if you want to, you can also leave a review. If you want to do both, listen, both is just as fine. So make sure you guys go ahead and leave a rating and review, and that will be greatly appreciated. And then last but not least, as I said before, make sure you guys go ahead and share this podcast. So if you haven't done so and you feel like, oh my God, like this podcast really like resonate with me, or, I feel like this may help somebody, or this might help somebody on my timeline, or some of my followers, whatever it may be, make sure you guys go ahead and share it. I don't mind. You can share it on your Twitter, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, however you want to share it. It is greatly appreciated. So yes, y'all, those were the church announcements. So today's episode, I wanted to talk about some things, that you should stop doing in order to become, basically, I'm talking about 7 ways to become more happier. So these are going to be things that you should stop doing. So if you want to become happier, you should stop some of these habits. So generally, I would say when I do these podcast episodes, I talk about things that you should do. But I do also understand, like, all of our minds work differently. Sometimes it's better to tell somebody what they shouldn't do versus what they should do in order for them to, like, adhere to, like, a better lifestyle. So I want to talk about, I want to twist it a little bit. And I want to talk about things that you should stop doing if you want to live a healthier or happier life. And I think it really is important. Like I said, all of us, no matter who you are, whatever, we all are dealing with things. We are always looking for ways, maybe to become more happier, become more healthier. And I think it is important just to kind of, continue to just, put this in our mind, put this in our head. What things should I stop doing and what things should I start doing to become the best me? So the first one on my list is one thing that, you should stop doing. And has been a hard one for me, but I'm trying to do better. Is complaining. Now, I'll say back in my college days in high school, all I did was complain. Like, I complained too much. It was to the point where I had a complaint for my complaint. It was to the point that I was complaining that I was complaining. Now, when you start complaining that you're complaining, there is a problem. And a lot of times, if you find yourself complaining, there is a root problem to it. It may be that you're insecure, you may be unhappy. There's something within you that is causing you to be frustrated, disgruntled with yourself. So if you want to become happier, you have to try to find a way to stop complaining. I remember I used to do these things, I even did it with my mom before, where I would say, okay, let's see if we can go at least, 1 hour without complaining. Or let's try to go 2 hours without complaining. And I even did it at my workplace. Me and my coworkers, we'd be like, okay, let's try to go at least 1 hour without saying something negative or not complaining. And it was very hard. And, I can say, try that yourself. You could try that today. Like, try to go at least, I'll say 30 minutes without complaining, or an hour. So try to not complain. And it is harder, it's definitely harder, than what a lot of people think it is, especially if you're a complainer. But the first thing that you should do if you want to start, becoming happier, is you have to stop complaining. Easier said than done. But complaining, we don't understand that, but takes I would say probably about 80 or 90% of our energy. A lot of times we complain and we don't even know we complaining. Even without us actually saying words, like our actions could be complaining. Like whether it's us like, or just making a noise like, oh my gosh. Or if we just kind of walk with like an attitude, that's a sense of complaining. So the first one I would say on my list in regards to stop doing so that you can become happier is to stop complaining. The second one on my list is also, it can be very difficult, is, resisting change. So change is definitely difficult, nonetheless. Change is hard. There's good change, there's bad change, but everything happens for a reason. So I was reading a book called The Magic of Manifestation, and it basically talks about like change and, going with, the waves. So basically it was saying like, when things happen in your life, go with the waves, don't go against it, because it's harder for you to go through life because, it's a resistance. So my second one is, one thing that you have to stop doing is resisting change. Very hard, like I said, because change is hard, because when life is changing or whatever you may be going through, you can't see what it is. You may have a possibility of what it is or what you want it to be, but when you go through a period or season of change, it's unknown. I mean, change is unknown. I mean, you can have a plan in place, but sometimes as we know it, and I know it, change happens when there is no plan in place. Change happens when we didn't ask for change. It's one thing for change to happen when we be like, oh, I'm planning to do this, but sometimes in life, change happens when we don't ask for it. It's like, I didn't ask for this. But one thing that you can do to kind of help yourself, just on that path of change, is to not resist it. So the more you resist change, the less happier you'll be. And then also ultimately it leads to a lot of complaining and just all different types of emotions. So that's the second one. I would say try to not resist change. And if you can, just try to go with the flow. Easier said than done, but there are a lot of different things that you can do. We talked about before, you can do affirmations, you can eat better. There are different tactics that you can do or implement in your life so that while you're going through that, phase of change, the waves of that change don't feel as harsh. The third one on my list is stop living how people want you to live, okay? So a lot of times, family, friends, or whoever may be, social media, we tend to like live a certain way, have certain jobs, or just do certain things because that's what others want for us. Now, granted, there are people that, want the best for us, but majority of the time, in order for you to be fully happy with yourself and fully, really do what you want, you really have to follow your gut and your instinct. God gave everybody a vision. And, I feel like sometimes, it could be friends, family, whoever. They may not mean no harm, but when we live up to what other people or how other people want us to live, it actually does more harm than good. And we actually, in the moment, the people may not realize it. But I will say, stop living how people want you to live. So that means, if there's something that you have in mind that you want to do, do it, try to pursue it. But when you try to please someone, this could be a people pleaser. When you're constantly pleasing someone, you making them happy, but you're making yourself more miserable. And 9 times out of 10, when you pleasing that person anyway, they probably still miserable. So at the end of the day, all you have is you. So, try your best, whatever it may be, whatever it is that you're pleasing someone or you're trying to live up to whatever somebody's means. Try to figure out, okay, how can I navigate this? How can I tweak this? And what things can I do so that I don't feel that I am, 100% pleasing this person? Whether it means you got to chop it down from 100% pleasing a person to 90%. Any percentage is fine, but once you start noticing, like, wait a second, I'm only doing this because so-and-so want me to do this, or I'm only eating like this because so-and-so want me to do this. So you just have to really stop living life basically how people want you to live it. Number 4, another one I would say is that you have to get rid of to become happier is a closed mind. And it's hard, having a closed mind, I would definitely say is a lot of people, they have it, and it is nice, I will say, when you speak to people with a more open mind. I feel like when you speak to open mind people, they have more of a listening ear, they have more compassion. I feel like they are more at peace with themselves. And I feel like when you do speak to closed-minded people, they're more disgruntled, they're judgmental. And there's just certain traits that really come with a closed mind. So if you do want to become more happier, try to have more of an open mind, even if you don't agree with it. There's a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm learning to have more of an open mind. I mean, I'm still a work in progress because there are a lot of things where I'm like, no. But I keep telling myself, like, in order to be more at peace with myself and not always just be debating with people, I need to be able to have more of an open mind. So if you notice that, you always, people may say like, oh, you always judgmental, or, I don't come to you for anything. It could be because you just may have a closed mind. So, and I'm not going to get in full detail how to have more of an open mind, but that is number 4 on my list in regards to ways to become happier. Try to have more of an open mind versus a closed mind. Number 5 is let go of control. Another one that's not easy. When you have control and when you try to control things, a lot of times, even me, I enjoy it because it's like I have control of the situation. I have control over what I do, blah, blah, blah. But that's not always healthy. Because even me, like, I've been in situations where I'm like, I'm in control, I can control this, whatever, but that's not healthy. It really isn't if you want to be in complete control. Sometimes you have to let go. And, sometimes you have to let go and accept what it is for what it is. And then also allow people to do or help you. So, letting go of control and just being more open to letting people help you, or just not being so controlled can really, really help, evolve and change your life. Number 6 is, stopping bad self-talk. We talk about affirmations on here. And I know you guys are probably like, where's the midweek roll call affirmations? They will be coming back, but they may be coming back in a slightly different platform. Not platform, but in a different way. But we'll talk about that. But you want to stop bad self-talk. You want to figure out, okay, if you find that you're being negative or complaining a lot, you have to kind of channel yourself and say okay, what are some things that I can do so that I'm not constantly, saying bad things to myself. And a lot of times we'll have bad self-talk without knowing. It may not even be like, oh, I look ugly, or I look fat. It could just be like little small stuff like I don't know. It could just be small stuff like, oh, my nails are never done. Or you could just be like, oh, look at my feet. You may actually, if you really start paying attention to yourself, you might start noticing that your self-talk really is influencing your day-to-day. And a lot of times when you have that bad self-talk, you go out in public with your head down. You're not as confident. You may not eat as right because you're already having bad self-talk about yourself. So when you have bad self-talk, it really just creates an environment of negativity, because if you're having poor self-talk, people can see that. People can see right through that. People can see when you are insecure. People can see when you don't have any confidence. People can see that. So one of the things that you can do to combat bad self-talk is, you can practice affirmations. So you can say 3 affirmations a day. You can say, I'm beautiful, I am loved, I am healthy. Whatever it is that you know that will help benefit your life, you can use those affirmations to override the bad self-talk. And then number 7, the last one, is a biggie, especially because we are living in a social media era, but it's stop impressing others. Like, when you're constantly trying to impress other people, that doesn't make you happy, because you're trying to live up to a means of people that you don't even know. And that's anywhere. It's in social media or outside of social media. And I will say I'm definitely guilty of this. Like, even social media, especially Instagram. Like, a lot of times we're trying to post stuff or look a certain way, trying to impress others for people that don't even really care about us. And even if we do look the best or the bomb, they still not going to comment or like the pic. So if you really want to live a happier life, just do you. Impress yourself. As long as you're impressing yourself and God, or, that's all that matters. Like, and I have to tell myself this even right now. It's like, you really have to stop trying to impress others. Yes, I know you want to appear to be this and that, but as long as you're impressing yourself, that's all that should matter. And so that's the number 7 tip in regards to, ways to become more happier. So like I said, this time around, I want to flip it in regards to things that you shouldn't do. But overall, like I said, there are so many different things. Like, the list can go on and on and on, and ways to become more happier. But these are just, some things that you can, stop doing today. And, also talk about some things that you can start doing, to become more happier. Because listen, don't we all want to just live a happier, healthier life? Like, I know that's me. Like, I just want to live, despite whatever it is that I might be going through or whatever, I just want to continue to live a happier life. Like, I don't care if a storm hits, whatever. I want to live a happier life. I want to become mentally tough despite no matter what storm I'm in, and whether I'm, about to go in a storm, if I'm in a storm or coming out of a storm, it doesn't matter. I want to learn to just become happy and content no matter what season I'm in. So you already know what time it is. It's time for this week's quote of the week. And this week's quote of the week is, make someone smile every day, but never forget you're someone too. Once again, make someone smile every day, but never forget you're someone too. All right, I'm good, fam. You already know what time it is. We are now at the end of this week's show, and I hope this information was helpful, insightful, and everything in between. Do not forget to go ahead and subscribe to the I'm Good podcast. Share this podcast, leave a review, and tell a friend, tell your boo, tell your bae, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your husband, tell your wife. Okay? Thank you guys once again so much for tuning in to the I'm Good podcast. I'm your host, Shree, and I will see all of you beautiful people next week. Bye-bye.